This is the Tesla 1-month overview reading for the month of September 2023. It's currently July 25th, 2023, 9:44 p.m. Eastern Time. Tesla, at the time of this reading in the extended hours, is $264.55 USD. And the shuffle file that we're about to play for the Tesla September reading was created on July 4th, 2023 at 8:42 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here. The overall theme and behavior for the month of September, there's an important low here, guys. This may be a lowest low, or it may actually go into the following month, but we have a correlation to a lowest low here. I think it may go into the following month. In any case, there's a from the August reading, there's the sneak preview from the August reading is the full card, and we have the full card appear here in the low position, giving extra prominence to this low. When we look at it on the 1 year, it's a lowest low correlation. There's a sharp drop at the beginning of the month, and then it looks like another pretty big drop on the cusp of September, October. But it's usually a resistance level that we met many times before, the cruelty card, and failed to break through many times before. It doesn't necessarily mean that we don't break through it this time. I think in the case of this reading, we don't break through it, but it's not always the case. And often there's a decline off of it, a pretty notable decline. It's crossed, however, with the abundance card, which in a lot of cases is an important high on a multi-day scale. Again, when we look at the 1 month, we're really close to like highest highs. So we might actually have a highest high for the year thus far, followed by a decline into a lowest low. It's either into a really significant low, or if it continues into the following month, it could be a lowest low. I don't think we'll see a lowest low and go from a highest high to a lowest low in the month of October. I just don't see that happening. Behavior around the highest high, sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bears inflow and outflow. Often when you see the change card in the high correlator position, it indicates more than one high because of, like, you know, you're going back and forth. I'm not so sure that's the case here. And then behavior around the low, like I said, it's an important low on a multi-day scale, possibly a lowest low, which would be towards the end of the month, high towards the beginning of the month. Overall pretty bearish. There's the completed shuffle file for the September reading for Tesla. Before we go any further, let's take a look and see how we're doing on the July reading. This seems to be a pretty solid reading, guys. On the 5th, we have the unicursal, which is a good opportunity to open up a short position. You can see that really would have paid off pretty well right there. Even if you got in at this crest, which ended up being on the 7th, not the 6th. It's like a revisiting of a crest that we saw before there on the 7th. And it looks like the low we pretty much nailed thus far. The low was on the 24th, a rally out of the low, offering an opportunity to open up a short position. And you can see we had this rally out of a low. And then the following day, if you timed it well, you would have been able to open up a short position. Probably would have opened up that short position at a discount in the midst of a move like that. So that's looking pretty solid. We're a few days off on the high, but we had a high mid-month. It looks like it ended up being on the 19th. And the fortune card actually is another card that can often be a highest high. I think I saw this in another reading for July, end up being a highest high. The Ace of Swords in this case didn't end up being a highest high. It did end up being a crest that stood out, right? Because we opened lower the following day. And then the resistance level there on the 13th for the Ace of Swords, this resistance level here, if you position yourself in the amount of movement that was here, like if you got in a long position at the low and a short position at around the high, you would have been able to position yourself in both directions, and you can see you would have made money to the upside and then very quickly to the downside. That full card was on the 20th, and you can see there's that unexpected gap down and then a big move to the downside. Continued downward on the 21st. Decline offers opportunity to open up a long position, and you can see the following day that would have paid off on the 24th. I'd give this like a 90. I'd give this like a 95, just because we're a few days off on the high. But with that said, this reading was created all the way back in May 4th, 2023 at 4:41 p.m. Eastern Time. That's a well in advance of any other analyst or prediction. You can't beat SO meta-analysis. All right, so let's get into it, guys. On the first, we have a brief peak that's easily missed and a really significant decline, especially midday decline, but we declined through multiple support levels from a brief peak that's easily missed, and there's a trade opportunity there we'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. Likely a gap down, or we open lower on the 5th, and out of the day's low, there's a significant move on a one-day chart to reach a high at the end of the day. I'm advised to be cautious here. There is a trade opportunity when revisiting a support level that we recently met once before, but I'll get into that in more detail in the paid version. And be very cautious about the Prudence card. Guys, if you're interested in the paid version, it's a really good way to support the channel. It's one of the best ways to support the channel. Without the paid subscribers, we wouldn't be able to put out the content that we put out, hands down. So if you really want to support the channel, it's a great way to do it. And if you're interested in the best trades that we see for the month and all the trade information, you can go to our services on our website, tarotfortraders.com, SO Meta Posts. Scroll down to monthly subscription, click here, and you can subscribe on a monthly basis to any of these ticker or cryptos. Amazon and Google aren't actually like monthly subscriptions. In order to get the Amazon and Google readings, which may be most months, not all months, you would need to get the $250 subscription. But you can, if you're interested in more than one ticker or crypto, I highly recommend the $250 subscription. It's our most popular subscription as it is. But that's a great way to support the channel, and we talk about the best trades that we see for the month, as well as like we look at it from different time frames if there's any relevant trades on like a multi-year scale or a multi-month scale. And it's pretty valuable stuff. I mean, to give you an idea, the July reading, we were off on the high, yet we still would have made money here if we had opened up a short position on the 13th and held it until the 24th or even the 21st. Either way, you would have made a significant chunk of change. You would have left a little on the table, but with that said, getting in and out and making money is always the goal. So when you do that, it's a successful trade. And that's just one example of the type of trade information that you get when you subscribe to the paid version. So thank you very much to all those of you that go ahead and do that. And let's get back into it. On the 6th, a period of volatility and a sharp drop that stands up in that period of volatility. It looks like the sharp drop comes towards the second part of the day. There's actually a day trade opportunity, and there's definitely a swing trade, possibly a day trade. We'll talk about it in more detail in the paid version. And then looks like a trough on the 7th and a big move to the upside, unexpected move out of a significant trough. An unexpected move to the upside really will stand out. On the 8th, a trade opportunity in the midst of sideways fluctuating decline on a one-day chart. We'll talk about in more detail, and overall sideways behavior, sideways rotation on the 8th, rotating along a key support level. And if it does increase, it looks like it probably increases with bearish momentum on the 8th. And in the midst of that, there's trade opportunity I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. On the 11th, looks like a significant gap up. There's a peak or crest there. This is most likely where we have a highest high. And we sell off from this crest down to and through support on a multi-day chart. We do a U-shaped reversal below that support, come back and reuse it as support. Trade opportunity the following day at a slightly higher price level than where we are in the afternoon on the 11th. All right, and then on the 12th, from a peak or crest, there's serious like mixed behavior on the 12th, 13th. But it looks like we probably open higher on the 12th and we decline pretty notably into the end of the day. There may be a big move to the upside at the end of the day. If it's not at the end of the day, a big move to the upside the following day on the 13th out of a notable trough. Big move to the upside early in the day on the 13th, and then on the 14th we have another notable move to the upside standing on a multi-day chart. On the 15th, a trade opportunity we'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. There's a pop and drop there. On the 18th, very likely a gap down. It'll be a peak that we sell off pretty notably. On the 19th, a decline to and through support to meet a second support, and we rotate sideways along that support. A pretty significant trade opportunity there. I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. On the 20th, if there's likely a gap up on the 20th, like a crest early in the day. There's a crest on the cusp of the 19th, 20th, and my sense is that we probably are declining on the 19th into sideways rotation. But then there's a peak or crest there on the 20th, so we probably gap up, and then there's a significant decline early in the day. Sideways rotation on the 20th, and a sharp drop that'll stand out in a period of sideways rotation. And then on the 21st, we have 3 pokes through the same price level, followed by a sharp decline, taking us to what's most likely a lowest low thus far for the month. And a significant trade opportunity. We rally out of it into the 22nd, but the rally on the 22nd does end there on the 22nd. We open lower on the 25th, and then the Lover's card is usually an important decision between like executives or leader, maybe 2 leaders that impacts the company's shares. It can be a merger or an acquisition of some kind that's highlighted. That low might actually be, it's hard to say. The second low might be on the 25th, it might be on the 26th. I think the 26th, but it might be on the 25th. And there's most likely multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance on a one-day chart there on the 25th, possibly a prominent move higher and then a full retracement of that move. But it's not going to be all of those things, so it's difficult to determine. I don't necessarily think it's a merger. It doesn't look like a merger to me, but it is news that really sets things off to a bullish kind of start. And it looks like there's a crest at the beginning of the day on the 26th, so probably a gap up on the 26th, and then a decline to a trough midday, followed by a really big move to the upside, reaching for distant resistance there towards the end of the day on the 26th. And then on the 27th, we're bumping along resistance, sideways, maybe breaking through resistance, bumping along resistance, but there's a trade opportunity there as well. And then a sharp drop on the 28th, standing out on a multi-day chart, followed by, out of that sharp drop, at some point we should see a little bit of a rally into the 29th, because that rally is halted there on the 29th by a decline through key support level on a multi-day scale. The sneak preview for the following month is the truce card, an important technical price level, an important resistance level highlighted. It looks like it's probably speaking about the same energy as this science card here. And then we revisit a crest in October, so be mindful of that. It's a pretty big decline there, but we revisit a crest in October most likely. That's Tesla for September 2023. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. Don't forget to follow the rule of karma, my friends. It's super important. It's the other way to best support the channel. If you want to regularly make money from this information, there's metaphysical rules in place to protect the channel and its information from being abused. So it's very crucial. It's crucial, guys, that you follow the rule of karma. Whenever you profit from this information, 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel here under our resources tab. Here at one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise. Definitely works. I've used it with some international people before. And then 5% of the profits should be donated forward to one of these charities. Super important to transmute that competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. That leaves you and all angel investors following these rules with 90% of the profits left over. As long as they follow those rules and spend that money out of love, the universe is going to send it back to them tenfold through this channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.